Well, the big top of mind issue is the three levels of competency they need to develop: provider competency, payer competency, and physician competency. They don't have all three. It's kind of a make-buy decision for some organizations on what they're going to do and how they're going to do it. But that is pretty much the consistent theme coming out of the meeting. Once we got past the Supreme Court decision, once we saw the post-election, it's become we were right in the middle of that when we did our meeting. It's become a velocity issue at this point. Timing's much more important. They were conceptualizing ideals before. Now they're actually forming and they're actually moving. It's, I guess, a bent to action versus a bent to planning. And so there's just a lot more activity going on, and they're investing a lot more resources than they were historically. The timing for action is now, but again, they're still stuck in the transition between payment systems. If they move too quickly, they end up alienating revenue on the fee-for-service side, and if they don't move quick enough, they're going to find themselves carved out of networks due to narrow network deals, et cetera. So I've talked to some of the leading CEOs in the country at the meeting, as well as individually. They're all working on the same three things I've mentioned, physician, provider, payer. The question is timing. How quickly do they move? And so some of them are progressing much quicker and taking the risk that they're hedging the market. But some are convinced that fee-for-service is not going to really disappear in a significant way. So they're hedging their bets and being conservative. One system in particular, just to give you a sense, will go unnamed, but put in place very aggressive case management systems across their EDs and across their system. And actually, just because of that dynamic between volume and value, they started driving value, but it denigrated their top line by $28 million. So it kind of gives you a sense of, if you get too far out in front of it, the financing system is really not there to support you as it relates to the economics. There's a high correlation between low cost and high quality. And so, you can get there and actually, concentrate. It's just the issue of the financing mechanisms again, of how much risk you're going to take for populations versus what you're doing on a fee-for-service basis. A good example is Advocate. Advocate has gotten a lot of praise for their Blue Cross, joint venture that they're doing, but you will very quickly ask them, and they will say in a public setting, they're not looking to do any similar type of arrangements with the other providers in Chicago because it will alienate their revenue base. So, I think that's really the outlying question is how quickly we move and ultimately making sure that you basically don't alienate your current revenue streams on the way. A lot of people are swimming toward population-based management, and rightly so. That's where it's going to go. It's going to be about case management outside the four walls of the hospital. But at the very least, there's a lot of foundational activity that is still available to them within their current operations. They want to progress to the more complicated issues, but they have to build foundational business systems, standardized systems, operating company models that are going to be the foundation for them to actually be successful and be able to scale their services appropriately. We're finding in organizations across the country that are, sizable organizations, anywhere from, 6 to maybe 15 hospitals, that they have, well over $100 million in just foundational performance improvement opportunity available to them. But it requires hyper-focus. It requires a lot of time to get there, a lot of lead time, a couple of years. And then, it really does set the foundation for you to succeed in any kind of the new dynamic.